Taco Express, Maria's Taco Express, AwesMic City. He's coming back. Yes, once again, he's coming back.
Great Scott.
Great Scott Vanya. He's circling now like a shark. And here he comes now. Scott Vanya.
I think you were this tall, Tom. Okay. In every man, and I do not use that word lightly, in every man, both weak and strong. Strong men not because you're oblivious to other people's feelings or you're tough or something like that. But strong because you stand for what you believe in and you act on it and you do everything you can according to those convictions. You become a vehicle for what you believe. That sense of strong. And every man weak who is unable to do so. And for either any cause, ones which he explains things to himself by, and ones which really happened. In that full spectrum of manhood, whether it be preconception to post-annihilation, there is and I'll speak universally, but you know, that's just what you gotta do. Anyway, in every man, flowing through the blood of him, at his core, is woman. Every love poem I have ever heard, I feel the girl's part as well as the boys. I've written beautiful love poems, and I've seen women who have stopped me in time for weeks on end, to which I actually spent weeks with. I have seen women, or a woman, to whom I was married for 13 to 14 years. The woman to which we would write our love poems, vis-a-vis the one in me, at times feels oh so incredibly pregnant. I can sense the kicking fetus in my guts, and it's full and round and delicious. I can feel the full breast, which from the man's side looks so beautiful. When I feel that pregnancy in me, desire to give birth, I write. And it's as if each little word or sound that comes off is a child fluttering away. It's no surprise it's called Mother Earth. We could live lifetimes as men. And I have seen and know so many men who don't know that they're a woman just as much as they're a man. And I have known women who have denied the fact that they're men. In this floor, in that world, is a burgeoningness. Not only the will to survive, that's the man in us, in me, in it, in whatever. The manness says, stay alive, kick, fight, do what you have to be yourself and to be honest and to be true and to be sincere. The woman self, the pregnant one, the motherly one, says, exert your will to thrive. Exert your will to help others nurture the woman in them so they can blossom forth into whatever their self would have them be. I feel most loved when the woman's self and the man's self are united. Not in the speaking part. This is all to me just sirens going by. The woman part and the man part are united when I hear poets come to a place like this where there's a mic, and it can be at any venue in this city, and they do things and something, the womanness in them promotes and prompts them to leave the script someplace else and just wander in la-la land like a little child. They don't know woman from madness. Cultivators, each one of us. Thank you.
Scott Vanya, very, very, very profound. Thank you. Anya Deshawn. Her name is musical.
Okay, I don't know if some of you remember the Austin International Poetry Fest when we were at Strange Brew about a couple of years ago. Yes. I was just totally exhausted. Many of us were from being up the night before at Full English, I think. Anyway, this was in the parking lot. I wrote it. Neon sign, red, flashing, open, open, open. Rain, spray, drops trickling on the windshield. I have blurred water vision. I sit behind my car windshield glass, warm and dry in my soft car seat. Reclined and behind the steering wheel, sleep weighs on me heavily. I sleep shutting out the blaring siren.
Are you serious?
I should have said yes. I sleep shutting out the blaring streetlight in my eyes and blaring siren. I will it away, drift into blankness and rest. Peaceful rest in this parking lot. Rain showering overhead, reflections and the circle pools in this parking lot, this pavement, remind me people are gathering outside the door to go in. But for now, I choose to replenish my energy for the all-night sharing of strange brew words of rainy night poets. That was really fun. I mean, it was all night. We had our poetry. We got poetry books, instant poetry books and stuff. Get above all this. Get above all this, the talk that comes from the weak, the talk that comes from the strong. There's someone always volunteering what's right or what's wrong to help us get above all this. There was a time when we worked in the garden from dawn and all the way to dusk. Then we slept well through the night. Pegasus took us in flight to show us how to get above all this. There'll be a time when we work as a team. We'll get along to make something out of nothing. We'll share a common goal, a common offering. We can get there again. Seeing the good in human beings, we can turn off the destruction with a snap of a finger. We can tell Mr. Bad News he can take his bags and go. We can tell him he just can't linger. Take the time to rewrite your rhyme if it doesn't jingle with joy. Take a moment to breathe and take in the sun. Just a ray or two. Let Mr. Sad Boy boat deploy. Let him deploy on the banks of the beach of no return and make your fun. Chuckle at yourself. Look what you've created. A paradox that closes Pandora's box. A paradox that directors say can't be slated. A paradox within a paradox. That would be a paradox dox. Get above all this. If your life is so boring, put in some new flooring. Start a new foundation. The word create has not lost its meaning. Find it. What you haven't created before is now the time to explore. If you've been doing the same old thing and the same old thing doesn't do, try a new perspective and shine up those perspective dull shoes. Get above all this self-absorbed you. Messed up the last line, didn't I?
No, it's fine.
This is a fast rolling one. I really didn't get to do New Year's poetry, so here's one. A resolution, a solution, an evolution, a fruition and intuition of creation and elation, of comings and goings and winds and blowings and signs and rhymes of chimes and times where people are loved and held high above this level of being where some are now seeing that goodness is internal and purification is infernal. Oh, a resolution, it is true, is made by me and you to affect the whole of our universal role. We play out here with those far and near who come to play until life's graduation day when life is worthwhile and gives a cosmic smile. When we see our reflection of beauty and not rejection, oh, 'tis a grand time this time of year when resolutions become so clear.
Yes.
Okay, we have about 15, well, closer to 10 more minutes. And I think we'll probably want to have a picture of everybody at the end. Let's wait until the end.
Okay.
Tom is always so anxious to get the pictures done because he wants to prove that we actually were here.
No one believes otherwise.
But if our photographer will let us borrow his camera long enough for him to be in the picture when we do that, that'd be great. And I'm speaking, of course, of the abbot of Philip Abbey, Sir Philip Abbott. Bye.
I would not call you fickle. That description doesn't fit what you have done. No malice do I find in you, bereft of such intention. How could anyone despise you or malign you for the sin of having fun? Some see in you a butterfly, in motion, always searching for another sweeter drop of nectar, never satisfied. But I think I have seen another side. I see you more a squirrel, one gifted to enchant all who espy, who cannot help but gather for her needs. Each seed is so well chosen, it is cherished and then hidden, but later she cannot recall the place where each was put, and so she must forever search anew. With such beauty and vivacity, so much can be forgiven, and the joy of being gathered far outweighs the sense of loss. To once have been deemed worthy is an honour to be treasured, and the darkness left behind is left behind. And just to finish, oh no, you're out of time.
No, keep going.
All right, this is green. Green, how much I want you green. Green as an arrow, fletching tinted as winter snow, green as icicles weighing needles to the ground with a scent of green. Young as spring, or drowning in centuries, verdigris on the domes and poles, I breathe you in. Feel you flow through me, roll you on my tongue. You seep into memories of grass, sweet, and malachite chilled with pearls I find nowhere to escape. I offer Everest. Boulders pierce snow to threaten clouds that turn away, refuse to hear that shade of spring. But now I know that I must paint you green.
Sorry, there's really no need to hurry. Neil, did you want to do another one? Okay, we're going to Neil, then Ben, and then I will ask Tom to sum up everything for us, and then we'll have our pictures taken.
Okay, good.
Neil Miley.
So because John and Sharon are here, and because if you have this book, you have a picture of Victor in the front of the book. So Victor was their dog and my buddy, and as Kiki said, has since stepped on a rainbow. But this is the. Pardon?
I voted for him.
Did you vote for Kiki today?
Yeah, I voted.
If I could have voted, I would have voted for him many times. Exactly. So anyway, this is the poem for Victor. The only trick you can teach an old dog is how to be an old dog. The minimum amount of turns it takes before before laying down for that afternoon nap. That a bark is as good as a chase for keeping the squirrels off the deck. And that after all those years of standing up for his standing friends, he may have earned their kneeling by him now.
And now, he's a pair, but he's very singular as well. Ben Pear.
Well, I guess it was worth the drive again. You know what's great about these readings here and last night was over at Metal and Lace, and you go, and the only people there seem to be people who are poets waiting to read, but that's great. You know why? Because if you ever tried to think about, like, to define what is poetry or like that, I tried it so hard, but one thing we all know, it's a certain state of consciousness. Not everyone gets there. So when we're together and poets, and it seems like we're the only people who actually enjoy poetry and the poetry readings, because we're in that state of consciousness. And I wouldn't drive all the way here from North Austin and arrive an hour late just to read a few poems. I enjoy the company and the poetry that I get to hear from the others. Not that you're any better than me. So anyway, I got one that's an old one. When my prolific period was long ago when I was in my 20s. So when I come and I'm trying to think of something new, actually I pull out something old, you know. And from this one's from about the time I first started writing when I was in college. And the way I got started writing really was as a student and trying to impress girls, because I would ask them out for dates. You know, I'd get their address, and okay, we're going to meet at, you know, a certain time. Where do I come pick you up? I get the address, I'd go there, and it seemed invariably it was an empty lot. So while I sat on the curb waiting for my date to show up, I just got out some paper and started writing, and eventually start writing poetry. And here's one of them. This one is, everyone hates it. I don't know why. They say it's terribly ugly. This one's called Young Woman Crossing the Street. On the opposite corner, there across 4 traffic lanes, we saw her, voluptuous and innocent together. Violet dress and matching shoes, violet purse dotted with blues, purple bow in the back of her hair, lipstick, eyeliner, hint of rouge, sexy black hose of delicate lace, beautiful form and lovely face, so perfect, we wishfully stare. The light flashed green, we're quick on our feet, anxious to cross her path in the street. She takes a step, then pops her hip, and she drags her leg. She drags her leg. She's dragging her leg along. Where is that beauty now? Who sees the curves, the bow, the face? She pulls herself closer, eyes averted. She had been slowly undressed, lay naked on beds in lurid light only some short seconds before. Now they all look away, because she drags her leg. She drags, drags, drags her leg. She's dragging her leg along. Cruel fate is not so cruel as we, afraid to face our own fragility. And so she goes and she drags her leg. She drags, drags, drags her leg. She's dragging her leg along. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to call Tom up one more time. And after Tom, everyone gather on the stage and we'll get our picture took. To sum everything up, as always, Tom the World Poet and Scott Vanya.
This is a unique alchemy, not just John, but the fact is, we know quite well this has never happened before and will never happen again. And we may forget parts of this, but certain quintessential things are unanswered conundrums. The first one is, what if every person in this room is right? No, what if Anya was right in her AwesMic search that this is a new alchemy of combined weirdness into cosmic awareness connections via the arts. What if Pete was right that storytelling was a bridge between people in the formation of community? What if Ben was right in saying that we have our lives chopped up into pages, stories of our connections? What if Louise was right to say we make play of this consciousness? What if Neil was right to say that Canada and Austin and Portland, Oregon all share the same possibility of vision by this subterranean dreaming? What if Philip was right to remember those poems that still sing in cadence and rhyme and construction? What if Scott was right to leave it all behind him and say, well, we need something new, because the past never did it? What if the reconstruction of this is not as good as the physical presence of us? Because when someone sees this, say you see this, you'll look at it and say, that's strangers, I don't understand, and then it will come back to you, and what comes back to you will be different to what you're seeing. Because right now we're feeling this. We're actually in the same time space. We're not just watching an image on a screen or listening to someone else's dream. We're getting ideas, as Pete is now, for writing down new ideas. Because we are feeding from and with and to and for each other. And William Blake said there are songs of innocence, but we have now reached the stage, this is our song of experience. It's not our first rodeo. It's not the first dog we've owned. It's not the first love we've lost. It's not the first breakdown or breakup. It's not the first. But each moment has a unique and piquant quality that may make us take this glow all the way up to North Austin, through the gridlock of I-35 or Mopac, and past the toll roads of our consciousness. And say, yeah, it's worthwhile driving from San Antonio, it's worthwhile driving from Dripping Springs, it's worthwhile just to be in this space with the people who ask the questions for which there may never be an answer. But there's some interesting journeying going on. And this excursion is always, ever, only the beginning.
Yes.
And even though I did this already 5 times. Thank you, Maria's Taco Express. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Otto. Oscar only. Well, thank you, Otto, too, and Oscar. And we'll see you next week. And now let's get our pictures taken. And I realized that I skipped Pete there. We'll give you double poems next time.
Double jeopardy.
He got it back. He gave up his time to me. You gave it to him. You did right. You were right on. Thank you for caring. My brother gave up his time. You gave it to him. You were at 10. Come on. I'll take the picture. Ah, thank you, John. Very clever.
Yes, compose us here.
Good. I need one. Centerpiece. There you are.
Have this shown right behind it.
It's such special. It's so wonderful. It's really, really. Audience is the show. And I think that's the biggest thing. Talking carrots.
Y'all have to move a little.
Oh yeah, this you like that, George? Subtle advertising. He's got the t-shirt, she's got the poster.
I know. You got the
What did you bring
t-shirt.
home? I brought home this t-shirt and poster. Whoops, I moved. I talked.
I filmed you.
Oh, no. Thank you.
Well, I've had enough for 600 faithfulness.
Anya, these are your microphones, right?
No, no.
No, they're
I did
not.
not bring any.
Okay, all right.
Hopefully I can. Hopefully I can bring them next week.
Well, oh, thank you.
I love the clip.
Yeah, we edited the tape, and
It comes before.
I know you have a big backlog.
Oh, I do, yeah. Yeah, I've been, as soon as I can get it on TV, but, yeah, and I did download to YouTube, and I have to review that. But the one
Where you, he just was everywhere trying to find counterfeit.
but, anyway, I